Hey guys, so today we're going to be making this apple. So you can see here we've got the stem, we've got the leaf, and we've got even the indentations for the apple as well. So I will be showing you how to make this today, and then yeah, we can just get straight into it. Now for the materials you're going to need, or what I used at least, was a 3mm hook, as you can see here, a pair of cutters. You'll also need a sewing or embroidery needle, and some fiber filling as well. And actually, you may also need a 1.9mm hook just for when you're making the leaf and the stem. And that's it. So let's jump right into it. So we are going to start off using some red cotton yarn, as you can see here. This is 4-ply cotton yarn. And we'll start off by making a magic ring, as you can see here. So I'm just using my 3mm hook. I'm going to insert my hook underneath here and make a magic ring. Oopsie daisies. Okay, let's do this magic ring like so. And once we've got that magic ring, all we're going to do now is make 6 single crochet stitches inside this magic ring. So here, for example, is the number 1 single crochet stitch. Here is number 2, number 3 coming up right now. So this is 3. Then we have number 4, 5, and finally number 6. Now once you have made those 6 single crochet stitches, all you will do is grab the yarn tail at the end here from our magic ring, and we're just going to pull this until we close that circle of our magic ring all the way. Now if you're a beginner, you may be tempted to do a slip stitch and chain 1, but I'm actually going to tell you that we don't do that for this apple because we don't want to be seeing a seam line all the way down. So instead what we will do is crochet in a spiral. And when we crochet in the spiral, basically all we do is when we get our hook into this very first stitch that we made, as you can see right there, and make a stitch inside this stitch, this will become our round 2 start. So for here, for example, this is round 2 now that we're going to start, and we're going to make 6 increases. So here's the first increase. Let me just get my hook into this section a little bit better so I'm not catching onto any yarn. And I'm still catching on, so this is something that you just have to be wary of as well. Just make sure you don't catch any yarn as you're crocheting all the way. So let's see if I can do this one better. There we go, that's a little bit better. So this is my first single crochet stitch, and then I'll enter the hook back into that same stitch and make a second single crochet stitch, and that is what we call an increase. So do that another 5 times until you've completed 6 in total. And then we will be on our way to starting round 3. So that's my second increase there. This here is my third coming up. My fourth. This is the 4th increase, single crochet number 1, single crochet number 2. My 5th increase, almost finished, number 1 and number 2 single crochets, and then we have our 6th increase, number 1 there, and finally number 2. And when we get into this stitch right here, we are beginning round 3. So for round 3, all we're going to do is make a single crochet stitch first, and then every other stitch we will make an increase. So here we go, here's the increase, so 1 and 2. And now you just repeat that pattern a total of 6 times. So single crochet first, and then an increase as the second part of that pattern. Okay, so just repeat that another 4 times to finish round 3, and then we will begin round 4. Okay, so now we're up to round 4, and in round 4 we're going to do the following. So a single crochet stitch first, then another single crochet stitch, so that's 2 single crochet stitches, and then an increase. So here's the increase right here, 1 and 2. So you're just going to repeat that, so 2 single crochet stitches and an increase for a total of 6 times to finish round 4. So there's a single crochet, there's the second single crochet stitch, and here again is the increase. So just repeat that another 4 times to finish round 4, and then we'll start round 5. So you can see at the end of round 4 here, our apple is starting to get wider and wider. So now for the next round, this is round number 5, we're going to be making 3 single crochet stitches first. So here's number 1, here's number 2, and here is number 3. And then the very next stitch, we're going to make an increase. So here's the first single crochet stitch, and then in the same stitch we will make a second single crochet stitch, and that is how we complete that increase there. So this is the beginning of round 5. Just complete this another 5 times, so 3 single crochet stitches, then an increase to finish round 5. Done and completed round number 5. So now we're going to start round number 6, and for round number 6 we're just going to increase this again. So we're doing 4 single crochet stitches. So there's 1, 2, 3, and the 4th single crochet stitch here, and now we have our next increase just like this. So there's 1 and there's 2, and then we're going to repeat this another 5 times to finish round 6. So remember, it's 4 single crochet stitches and then an increase, a total of 6 times. Okay, so we've just finished round 6 now, and this is actually going to be the width, how wide our apple is. So we now will complete another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds of 36 single crochet stitches. So we currently have 36 single crochet stitches in the round, and this is round 6. So we're going to complete another 5 rounds of 36 single crochet stitches. So you might want to put a little stitch marker in here. I mean, it depends what you guys want to use. I could use just another piece of cotton yarn or fiber filling, and then I'll work my way around that and keep my stitch marker here. Or you can just count it as I usually do, but it's completely up to you. So another 5 rounds of 36 single crochet stitches, and then we'll come back together after that. Alright, so we've just finished those 5 rounds of 36 single crochet stitches, and we're making progress with this apple. So the next round is going to be making 7 single crochet stitches and then an invisible decrease, and then you'll repeat that 4 times. So I'll show you how that is. So we've got first single crochet stitch, number 2, remember we're making 7. This is number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, and number 7. So that's 7 single crochet stitches, and then we have an invisible decrease. And an invisible decrease is just where you go into the first loop, so the front loop of the next stitch, and then the front loop of the very next stitch as well. So 2 front loops, and then you pull the yarn through both of those front loops, and then you have 2 loops on the hook, and then you'll pull the yarn through 2 of those loops that are on the hook. And that is what you call an invisible decrease. Okay, so now you're going to repeat that a total of 4 times. So remember, it's 7 single crochet stitches and then an invisible decrease. Okay, so we just finished round 12 now with those 7 single crochet stitches and a decrease 4 times. And now we have 32 single crochet stitches in the round. So for this next round, round 13, we're just going to do simple single crochet stitches, a total of 32 single crochet stitches for this entire round. So I've already just made 2 there. Here's number 3, here's number 4, and you'll just keep going until you've made 32 to finish this round. And that round is now finished. So we've just made 32 single crochet stitches, as you can see. Now for the very next round, we're going to make a decreased round. So this will go from 32 stitches to 28. So in order to do that, we're going to make 6 single crochet stitches. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this is the 6th single crochet stitch, and then we're going to do or make an invisible decrease. So here it is, the invisible decrease, front loop again of the next stitch, and just make sure your hook gets into that, all of that front loop, don't leave any strands behind. And then pull the yarn through and pull the yarn through those 2 loops on the hook. And then you're just going to repeat that a total of 4 times as well. So 6 single crochet stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with a decrease that comes straight after it. So that's number 6. And then here's the decrease, front loop, pull the yarn through and pull the yarn through. So just repeat that another 2 times and then you finish this round. At this point, we've just finished that round, and now we're going to start a new round, and this time you're just going to make 28 single crochet stitches in the round. So that's 1, we have 2, here's number 3, number 4, and just continue until you have 28 single crochet stitches to finish that round. For this very next round, what we're going to be doing is another decrease round. So we're going to make 5 single crochet stitches, and then after these 5 single crochet stitches, we'll make another invisible decrease. So this is number 3, This one is number 4. Then here's number 5. And then right now we're going to make an invisible decrease. So always remember the invisible decrease is front loop, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through. And you'll just repeat that another 3 times in, so another 3 times, so 4 times in total. So that's 2, 3, 4, and number 5. And then after the 5 single crochet stitches, you'll make an invisible decrease, as you can see here. And I'll just complete that another 2 times to finish this round, and then we'll come back together. So we've just finished round 16, and now we're up to round 17. So in round 17, this is another decrease round, but this time it's slightly different because our decrease round is going to be interchanged by 2 single crochet stitches. So we've just made 2 single crochet stitches right there, and then we'll make an invisible decrease. And then we're just going to repeat that a total of 6 times. So remember, it's 2 single crochet stitches first. So there's 1, there's 2, and then a decrease. So here is the invisible decrease that we talked about a couple of times as well. So now that I've completed that pattern twice, I'm going to get you to complete it another 4 times so that you can finish this round number 17. Round 17 is now complete, and I've just pulled the yarn a little bit out so you can see it here. Because in this next section, we're going to put in some fiber filling into our apple. This is probably the best time to add this fiber filling. So this is just the fiber filling I have. It just comes from a pillow, but you can purchase some stuffing or fiber filling on Amazon. I'm sure it's a relatively cheap price where you are. You can just, or you can just open up a pillow or something and grab the fiber filling out of that. So you want to fill this up nice and firmly so that your apple's quite firm. But obviously you also don't want to overstuff it because you don't want any of this fiber filling coming out at the sides. So this is what we're going to do here. So I'll get you to keep filling this up until you think it's pretty firm and packed, quite compressed inside. So let's do that now. Alright, so I've just filled up my apple with this fiber filling. It's compressed inside here nice and firmly, and so I'm happy with that. So once you're happy with that, you're going to put your hook back into the yarn thread, or that loop, to make that loop that was on the hook previously. There's only 2 more rounds to complete now, so this is round number 18, I do believe. If not, it's written here below the screen so you can see what it is. And from here, this is another decrease round. There's only 2 more rounds to go in total anyway, but they're both decrease rounds, obviously, because we need to close this apple up. So all we're going to do, in the last round we did 2 single crochet stitches and a decrease. So this time we're going to make 1 single crochet stitch. So here's the first single crochet stitch right there. And actually I want to make sure that this loop is not twisted as I do that. So here's the first single crochet stitch. And then you will have the decrease right after it. So here's my decrease. And I'm going to repeat that another 5 times for a total of 6. So single crochet stitch, then here's a decrease. That's the second time I've done it. Single crochet stitch, then a decrease. This will be the 3rd time once complete. There we go. Then we have another single crochet stitch and a decrease for the 4th time. And let's repeat this another 2 times just to finish this round. So this is round number 18. So single crochet stitch and a decrease right here. So this is the 5th time. And then 1 more single crochet stitch and a decrease. And remember, these are invisible decreases as well. Front loop, pull through, and pull through 2. So there we go. We have just completed that round. We have 1 more round to go before we close up this circle, and we call this a magic ring as well, I guess. Once we finished it too, I guess you could call it a magic ring, I suppose. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to make 5 decreases. 5 decreases. So these are all invisible decreases as normal in this pattern. So there's number 1. Here is number 2 coming right up. Then number 3, front loop, pull the yarn through, pull the yarn through. This is number 4, front loop, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through. And do your best not to get any of the fiber filling caught up into your stitches as well. I've kind of accidentally done that. Just do your best not to do that. And here's the last one. So remember, front loop, let's see, I'm just going to push this a little bit more, front loop, and then front loop again, pull through those 2 front loops, and then pull your yarn through the 2 loops that are left on the hook. Now, I've only made 5 decreases because, as you can see, the hole in the center is quite small. So technically, I was meant to make 6 so that I could have a total of 6 stitches in my last row or round, but it's too small. This center piece here is too small. So if I was to close it up, it would be quite bumpy. So instead, I'm going to leave it as 5 decreases, but in the very next stitch, I'll just make a quick slip stitch to finish that off. And once we've done that, I'm just going to pull the yarn through. And once I pull the yarn through, I'll leave a little bit of a yarn tail as well. Maybe like 20 centimeters is more than enough. I think I have a little bit more than 20 centimeters, but you'll find that I have a lot of excess here. And once we've done that, we're now going to close this magic ring at the base of our apple over here. If you need to fill it up anymore, I'll just add a little bit more fiber filling if you need to. If you feel like your apple is stuffed and firm enough, then just leave it as it is. So from this point, all I'll get you to do is grab the yarn tail and just weave it through the eye of an embroidery or sewing needle. This is my needle here. It's got a sharp end down here. It's got a wide enough eye of the needle over here. And once you've done that, all you're going to be doing to close up this project is to weave in your yarn tail in each of the front loops of the remaining stitches in this round. So there should be for you guys 7 front loops that you need to go into. So this is my number 2 front loop. This will be in my number 3 front loop, and just make sure you're only getting into the front loop as well. You don't want to get into those back loops. So that's the 3rd front loop. Pull away any fiber filling that kind of gets stuck along the way. Here's number 4. Here is my number 5, number 6 front loop, and then you'll be left with 1 more because there will be 7 stitches in this final round. So that's my 7th front loop. And now all I'm going to be doing here is pulling this, and you just pull it nice and gently until you close it all the way up. There we go. And this is the reason why I only did 5 decreases. If I did 6, there's probably going to be a little bit of a lumpy situation going on over here. But because we only did 5, there was enough space to leave it non-lumpy. So now what we're going to do is add the needle into the very center of that, and then just come out anywhere inside the apple. It's not really necessary to know where exactly to go, just come anywhere out in the body. And now we could probably actually start making the indentations of this apple as well. So if you cut too little, because I know I did say 20 centimeters, but now I'm thinking about it, probably should have had maybe about 30 or 40 centimeters. If you don't have enough, just cut this one, and all you should do is just grab a new piece and start again. So you'll start weave somewhere here and then come into the center, and then work your way to making the indentations in your apple, just like I'm about to do now. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come out into the center part. So this is the top center part now. You can see I'm right in the center, and I'm going to pull this all the way through. And then I'm just going to go across 1 stitch. So any of these stitches around the magic ring I can just enter into. And then I'm going to come out into the center of my magic ring at the bottom as well. So let me just see where that is. Technically we can find a center point. There we go. So there's the center point at the bottom. So all I'm going to do now is pull this, and you can see it's starting to make that indentation, which is exactly what we want. So just pull that nice and firmly, as you can see there. Then I will put my yarn tail maybe to the side over here, so just 1 stitch apart, and then I'll come back into the center portion out here if I can find it. My needle is a little bit curved inside, so if you have a straight needle this is a little bit easier, but in any case you're finding the center, and you're just going to pull this at the bottom to make that indentation. You can see it's making a beautiful indentation over here. Now we went over this side before, so let's go over this side now to make the indentation a little bit more neat. And then from here we also need to weave the yarn center into the center of our apple again. So I'm just trying to find that with my fingers. That is looking very good right there. And then I'm going to pull this through and make that second stitch on the side pull through. So I'm making that indentation. You always just try to make those indentations by moving into the side. And we can do the same on this side as well. So we've already come out here, so maybe I'll come into this stitch right here, and I might make my way back into the center again, of my top portion of the apple. Just got to find it. Sometimes it is a little bit tricky. But once you've got it, which we've almost got it over here, there we go, there's the center of our apple. We're going to pull that yarn through, and again we're going to make we're going to pull that down here so it just that indentation gets a little bit wider and a little bit more even all the way through. And then from here I might go just one more time, a little bit, one stitch apart, and then that should really be it. So once I pull this, it should continue making that indentation as it is right now, and you can kind of help it along as well. Now we have two beautiful indentations, bottom and top. We've got a lovely apple, and all I will do now, since we have red yarn color, I'm just going to weave it a stitch above. Shouldn't make much of a difference at this point, and I'm not going to pull it too tightly at this point. I just want it to blend in nicely over here, and we'll do the same maybe over here and weave it over here. You can do this several times, or as many times you think, until your apple seems secure. And I might just do it one more time, and then I'll pop out anywhere. It doesn't really matter where, because it's all red colored yarn, just as long as you don't pull it at these points, because you don't want any indentations along the side of the apple. And then we'll cut any excess yarn that you have, and then just push the excess yarn back inside the body to complete that apple look. And there you go, there is the body of the apple all done. We've made those beautiful indentations at the bottom and the top, and now we have our apple shape. Looks like an apple. All we need to do now is the leaf and stem, so let's get straight into that now. Okay, so for the apple leaf, this is what we'll start off with. We will need a 1.9mm hook, and we will also need some green yarn. So you can use any green colored yarn that you have, dark green, light green, all colors in between, that's no problem at all, but we will have this green leaf. And so we're going to start off by making a slip knot. So for those of you who don't know how to make a slip knot, this is just how I make mine. I wrap it around my fingers. I've got my yarn with the tail at the end here. I'll make a little loop. I'll insert my hook into that loop. I'm holding it at the base here. It's like in a cross section. And I'm going to pull the yarn through that loop, and then pull the base of my yarn tail until this becomes quite tight. Okay, so from this point, all we're going to do is chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If at any point I'm a little bit too fast for you, don't forget to pause the video, do it, and then press play again, and then we'll be at the same spot. If you're faster than me, oh, go for it as well. Alright, so in the second loop from the hook, so we're going to start right here. So not start here, but start right here. This is the second loop from the hook, and this is what patterns will always tell you. You always start in the second loop from the hook. We're going to make 3 single crochet stitches. So this is my number 1. In the very next loop, we'll make number 2 single crochet stitch, and then in the very next loop again, we'll make the 3rd single crochet stitch. So there we go. We've just made 3 single crochet stitches. Now in the next 3 loops, we're going to be making a half double crochet stitch. So here is the first loop and the first half double crochet stitch. The second half double crochet stitch in the next loop. So remember, you're wrapping the yarn and you're pulling the yarn through all 3 loops on the hook. And one more time, wrap the yarn into the next loop, pull the yarn through, and pull the yarn through all 3 loops on the hook. And that's what you call a half double crochet stitch. Now in the next 2 loops, actually, we're going to be making a double crochet stitch. So you wrap the yarn, you pull the yarn through, but this time you pull the yarn through 2 loops at a time. So once and twice, and that there is a double crochet stitch. It's a little bit taller than the half double crochet stitch. Let's do it again. In the next loop, we'll wrap the yarn, pull through, and then pull the yarn through 2, and pull the yarn through 2. And there we go. That's our second double crochet stitch. Now, in this very last loop, as you can see right here, we're going to be making 3 double crochet stitches. So we're really trying to turn this all the way around. So here's the first one, 1 double crochet stitch. Then here will be the second one in the same last loop. So this is the second double crochet stitch, and then we'll make a 3rd. So we're really trying to turn this leaf around, as you can see here. So that's 3 double crochet stitches in this very last loop. Now what we will do is basically make a mirror image of this leaf on the other side. So we're starting here, and we're going to be making another 2 double crochet stitches. So we were already here, now we're coming here. So this is the first double crochet stitch. on the other side now of their chain. And then we'll come right here, as you can see right there, to make that second double crochet stitch, 1 and 2. There we go. So we've got 2 double crochet stitches now. In the next 3 loops, we're going to be making 3 half double crochet stitches. So here's the first half double crochet stitch, pulling through all 3 loops on the hook. Here's the second half double crochet stitch, pulling through all 3 loops on the hook. And finally, the last half double crochet stitch right here and pulling through all 3 loops on the hook. And there we go. Very good. So now all that is left to do is to make another couple of single crochet stitches. So 1, then number 2, and here's number 3 in the very last loop or back end of that loop. And from here, you're just going to insert your hook into that very first single crochet stitch that you made, and you're just going to make a slip stitch into the loop that was on the hook. And there you go. So there is our apple leaf, and all we will do now is just pull the yarn through that loop that's on the hook, pull it all the way through until we've got enough yarn, probably about 20 centimeters again. That should be well and more and truly enough. And there we go. There is our apple leaf right there. And finally, we are going to be making the stem. So this is the stalk of our apple. And we're still going to be using our 1.9mm hook. We're going to have dark brown yarn, or you can have light brown yarn as well. And we will start this off by making a magic ring. So let's just make the magic ring right here. So here we go. Hook comes into our yarn, pulls it around, pulls it into that loop, and there we go. There's our magic ring. Now from this point, we're just going to crochet 5 single crochet stitches into this magic ring. So there's number 1. Here's number 2, number 3, number 4, and finally number 5. And don't make these stitches too tight because you want to make it easy to get into as you work your way around in the next rounds. So you're going to pull this yarn tail to close up your magic ring circle, and then you can actually, if you want, you can do a slip stitch and chain one here. I'm just going to crochet in the round. And what I'm going to do here is from rounds 2 to, let's say 2 to 5, I want to say. 2 to 5, rounds 2 to 5, so this is going to be 4 rounds. We are just going to make 5 single crochet stitches in each round, but 4 rounds worth of 5 single crochet stitches. So if I start you off here, there's my first single crochet stitch, my second, my third, my fourth, and finally number 5. So this is the second round now complete, and you can see that my stalk is kind of turning a little bit up, inside out, so I might just correct this at this point as well. So always correct it maybe after round 2, because if you don't correct it at round 2, then you might find it a little bit more difficult as you continue around. And now I'm going to do another 3 rounds of 5 single crochet stitches, so let's come back once we finish that. And there we go. So I just have completed 5 rounds now of 5 single crochet stitches, and since I crocheted in a spiral, I'm just going to come into the very next stitch and make a slip stitch to even it out, even the level out at the bottom, at the base there. And then I'll pull the yarn through. As you can see here, I'll give myself a little bit of a tail, maybe about 20-30 centimeters again, and I'll cut that through, and there we go. I'm not even going to bother filling this up with fiber filling, but if you feel like it's a bit flimsy and floppy, feel free to add some fiber filling to your stalk of the apple here. And now we are up to our best and favorite part, which is the sewing part. So you can see I have a little bit of a yarn tail over here. I'm just going to chop this away and stick it back into the center of my stalk, as you can see here. So I'm just going to put this all the way through. And the first thing I'm going to do is sew this stalk right to the centerpiece of my apple. So if I grab a yarn needle, which you can see I've got one right here, I'm going to weave this yarn into the eye of my needle as best as I can. So we'll do that now. And there we go. So I've just woven that through the eye of my needle. Make sure the eye of your needles is big enough to be able to do this. I always struggle with that part. That's probably the worst part for me in my entire crochet journey, is just weaving the yarn through the eye of the needle. Okay, and now we've got to stick this to the center of the top portion of our apple. So this is the top portion of my apple where we started, and I'm just going to make my way around. Now, it will be a little bit hard for me to go from this to over here, so what I'll do instead is I'll use my needle to come out anywhere in the body. It doesn't matter where, because I'm not going to be using that as a stitch, as you'll see soon. And then I'll come back through this same stitch over here and then point it where I want it to go. So for example, if I want my stem to be right in the middle, so I might go to the very next stitch space that's right next to the first one that I entered into. So come maybe around over here, and then I'll come through here like this. That disappears, as you can see, because I went in the same stitch space. And then I'm going to work my needle into one of those stitches at the base of my apple right there, and just pull that through. Now, from this point, I'm going to go into the same stitch and work my way again through the body, because it's too hard for me to get to the next stitch because my needle is a little bit curved and a little bit too big, so it's hard for me to do that, which is why I'm using this way. And then I'll put my needle back into that same stitch and come out in the very next stitch space next to where I just was, so right here. And then I'll pull that through, it disappears right there, and then I'm going to enter into the next stitch space in my stalk. As you can see there, I'll pull it nice and tightly, and then I'll head on back into that same stitch space again, come out somewhere into my body, it doesn't matter where, and then I'll pull that through. We've probably got another 2 lots to go because there were 5 stitches in total, right, in my stalk. So we need to sew this at least 5 different times so that we can get all of those stitches. I'll come out into the next section. This disappears because we've come into the same spot. I'll work my yarn needle into the very next stitch. As you can see right there, there's the stitch right there. I'll pull that through, and then I will enter into again the same stitch space as I was before, which is over here, and then I'll work my way into the body, pull that up, grab my yarn a little bit. We've got a little bit of a excess yarn tail here, but that's okay, and then work my needle back into the body so I can get my last and final stitch connected. And it probably will be around about over here somewhere, so let's see if I can do that. My needle is curved, so it is a little bit tough to see where it is inside my apple, but in any case we are going to find it. Let's do that now. So yep, about there is good enough. And then I'll just get into that very last stitch, and this time I'm just going to go the front way because it's a bit hard for me now to go in the back way. Although if you feel that as though you can, feel free to do that because it will be a little bit neater. And there we go. I'll just work my way into the body here. I'll pull this through, straightening out my stalk. All of my the base stitches on my stalk have been sewed now to that middle section of the apple. And here I'm just going to have my needle come back in here, and I'll push it through another portion of the body so that the so that the yarn gets stuck inside the fiber filling as well, and it just secures it a little bit more in place there. And then cut any excess yarn that you have and place it back inside the apple to hide it away. And there we go. There's my stalk now on my apple, and we are looking fantastic. There we go. Now the last thing we need to do is to sew the leaf. With the leaf, remember we weaved in this section, so this was the beginning yarn tail, so we can actually just cut that off because it's already been weaved in. If you hadn't weaved it in, make sure you weave it into these back stitches before you start doing anything else. And then you still have this long yarn tail here, which we are going to use our needle to sew this to the apple as well. So let's put the yarn into the eye of the needle. My favorite part. Let's see if I can do it first time. Yep, look, I'm terrible at this. I don't want to use any other tools. Sometimes I use like a twisting technique. Sometimes, I don't know. It just always takes me a couple of attempts, it seems. And when I get it first time, I'm so happy. But there we go. Okay, second attempt done. Now all we want to do is find a good place to where we want to put that, the leaf over here. And we're going to stick it right in the middle here. So you can see it is quite a large leaf, but that's okay. No problem in that at all. And so I'm going to come down here at the base and stick it right in the base down here. I'll have my yarn needle coming out anywhere in the body. It doesn't matter where because we're going to insert it back through anyway. And there we go. So there's one spot right there. And then we're going to insert this needle back into this section right here. And then I'll come back out at the base of this stalk. Let's see where that needle goes. That's actually a good spot. Very nice. So we're going to pull that through until our green yarn disappears. I'll come in over here at the base of this stitch and just sew around that, so we can really secure that in place. And then I'll head back into the same stitch, or at least somewhere very close to it. And then come anywhere out in the body again, because we're going to have that disappear later on. We're going to pull that through, and I think what we would do, if your leaf was a little bit smaller, you could probably just leave it as is. But since mine kind of pops itself up, I'm actually going to stick it down a little bit over here with my yarn tail. So all I'll do is come maybe over this section here where I want the leaf to stay still, and I'll pull that through, as you can see, and then I'm just going to go to the very other side and then back into the same stitch to really secure that in place. And then my needle can go anywhere out in the body of my apple. I'm going to pull this through. It's going to look nice and neat. You can't see it over here, so I'm happy with that. We have a beautiful leaf and apple over here, and then I'm just going to weave my yarn tail a few times through the body just to secure it in place, so that the yarn tail kind of goes through that fiber filling and just holds it securely in place throughout the body. So I'll do that a few times before I decide to cut it, and then we will officially be done with our apple, which will be amazing. So here's the last time that we'll do that. There we go. Cut any excess yarn, or you can keep weaving if you want to make it even more secure. Up to you, no problem at all. I am pretty happy that that is secure now. There's my leaf. Here's my apple. I'll just squish it to make it look a little bit more like the body of the apple with less indentations. And there we go. So there is my apple, all secured or nice. And it looks like this. So you've got the indentations at the top, the bottom, you've got the leaf, and you have the stem, and there we go. So we have two apples right here. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe as well, guys, and I'll have tutorials coming out every Tuesday and Friday of every week, so be sure to check those out as they come, and share this with your friends if you want to make an apple as well. It looks great. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.